Hello everybody, welcome back to the F-14, and here we're going to do some layups on some usable gear doors and stuff for the prototype. Already got all the fabric layers and core material and all that stuff cut out. Got the epoxy mixed up and I'll get a video and here we go. I've also been working on the intake duct plugs, or plug here lately. It's one plug from both sides. I put a flange on it so it can, you don't have to, it'll kind of self-align itself. But I made the flange oversized. That way you can have one plug for both sides. And then with just a little bit of body filler around the bottom of the inlet lip, you'll be good to go. So it saves a little bit of work for me, and then just take maybe an extra 20-30 minutes of work by the builder to get it nice, pretty, and perfect. That saves me hours and hours of having to take two different plugs, and having to mold up two sides and all that stuff, then trying to keep them symmetric too. So that saved me some work. Gives everybody else a little bit extra work. So first, a little bit of epoxy on the mold. First layer of glass, which all these layers of glass are just barely cut oversized. Glass down. Here on the upper and lower speed brakes. Thomas, get back in here in the garage. One layer. Yes. Little helpers out here listening, as 2-year-olds tend to do. They come out, want to help, and what you do, he walks outside the garage and constantly doing something I don't want to do. Yeah, Daddy's building a plane. Why don't you come in here and watch? He's not very helpful, as you can hear. But he tries. Here's that. Then for the carbon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is lined up the correct way I want it, which it is. So this is the top portion of it. I'm going to wet out the core material. Thomas, get in here. Core material. I'm going to put a piece of glass over it. Like I said, just barely big enough to cover. Brush the glass flat. Some more resin on here. I have to go wrangle a little boy here in a minute before he steps into some fire ants. Thomas, get in here. Go get your paintbrush. Here's your paintbrush. Right here. Yeah, go paint your wagon.
No, Daddy. Paint the truck.
No, paint your wagon.
No, Daddy.
Yes, buddy. Yeah, paint the box. That'll work. Then take the carbon and lay it down right over the top of it. And leave that to kind of wet out a little bit. And the speed brake part over here.
My bird's gone. My bird's gone.
Your bird on?
Yeah.
Okay.
My bird's
Do the same thing basically for
gone.
all this stuff. I'm gonna wet out the core material, put the glass layer on it and the carbon on top. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around with a pair of scissors and just trim the carbon around the core material in a couple of areas. That way I can be sure that I get the core material lined up exactly where I want it on the mold surface. That way all the screws, the panel lines, the edging, everything's where it needs to be. Hey buddy, get back in here. Thomas. Come on. Get in here. Go. I'm blocking you in so you can't get out anymore. That's what I did. Yeah, I know. That's gonna hurt your feelings now. You'll get over it. Yet another reason why I don't do very many videos. It's hard to do them when I gotta chase him around everywhere. You guys can't really see what I'm doing, but whatever. You wanna go inside with Mom? No, you don't wanna go inside with Mom? Okay. Same here, carbon on. Go on the core. Yeah, I see you, buddy. Well, they can say, girls in the house. Lacey. Then the carbon layers, we'll just push down real good. We'll have to get them saturated. Or mostly saturated. Like I said, I'm just going to go around with some scissors. Actually on the edges here. And just cut the carbon and all. Cut it flush with the edge of the core. That way, I can get it lined up just perfect. You almost close the door, buddy. Yeah, close the door. Flip this piece over. tore a piece of wax paper carrier off. Hopefully, it'll come off without disrupting things too much. Looks like it is, mostly. Brush a little bit more resin on here. That way this carbon gets completely wet out. Now pick it up. Get it aligned on a mold surface. Take more resin. Final layer of glass cloth. We'll leave that to the side for now to soak up some epoxy. Do the same thing for the speed brake parts. Apparently I didn't get enough resin on any of that. Resin. Trim a few corners. Hold it up where you guys can't see it. My bad. You want to do the same thing with this one, just put it here where it needs to go. Some resin on top of the core, put the last layer of glass on. it down nice and flat. And leave that to the side for it to soak up. Then continue with the other 2 parts of the speed brake. So I've got pretty much all the materials to close up the fuselage. I gotta get some time to go to my buddy's house and cut out the parts of the CNC machine in the house. Lacey. Not you, buddy, the dog. And once I get that stuff cut out, we'll get a fuselage closed up and popped out the mold. Thomas, what's the matter? Hold on. What's up, buddy? You can't pick you up right now. One of those down. There's a second one over here. Thomas, settle down. Better now? No. Hold on, buddy. Can I finish this first?
Yeah.
Okay. Go paint your wagon. Okay, go paint the box. Is your brush done too? Trimmed it, more epoxy. And put it into position. Epoxy on the floor. Rinse, lather, repeat, basically. And then with these parts, for just a little bit extra strength because they're kind of small, I'm going to throw in these 2 little strips of carbon. Just for a little bit of extra oomph for those 2 parts. Well, they are very small. Then with some of this resin I still got, put it over here on the dry spots of the nose gear door and the upper speed brake for now. Hey, buddy. Oh, yeah? Now these 2 strips I just put down, I'm just gonna rub into the epoxy to help the epoxy squeeze through and get this thing to release a little bit easier. Yeah, I see you on the box. Be careful.
Daddy. Where's the box?
Then pull a little wax paper carrier off. More resin on this carbon. Then our final 2 layers of glass, or final layer of glass. Final 2 pieces. Yeah, we're building a plane, buddy. Yep. Alright, there's that. Now peel ply will go down on everything. I get this in my specialty Walmart peel ply. A whole $1.25 a yard. On a 39-inch spool. That's folded in half, so it's actually pretty wide. But this stuff works just as good as the name brand stuff, believe it or not. And in some instances, actually, it's a little bit better. All right. I'll mess a little bit here. We actually got a piece of plastic drop cloth laid down. What's up, buddy? What? What? Oh, you see birds? Oh, okay. Perforated plastic again. I have 1 piece of perforated plastic for the 2 speed brake molds. So all I'm going to do is just pick these up, put them off to the side here, and fold my plastic over. And pull my bag into place. First speed brake mold here can go all the way in. Tripod for you guys so you can see what's going on. First speed brake mold's in all the way down. Make sure the fabric's not folded over anything on the peel ply or perforated plastic. Next one will go in right up under that piece of plastic. then the breather, bleeder material, whatever you want to call it. I like to overlap them here, that way they get in there the same place. You get a nice good vacuum line between the two. And nose gear mold to go in. Then just some little strips here to go between the two to connect the two sides together and under the bag fitting. And then our little bag closure can come in. And we'll close it all up. Yep. Now I get my bagging machine over here. Look it up. You stuck on the box?
Yeah.
Well, you got up there. You can get yourself down. All right. There we go. It's all sucked down and off to the races again. So not only do I have these, I got this stuff done that you just saw, but I've also got the main landing gear doors prepped and ready to go as well. I'll do those later.
Wow, Daddy.
So here's that's the inlet duct mold. It's a male mold instead of a female, like everything else. So it's easy. You just get it prepped and nice and smooth, and you wax it up and PVA it or whatever. Then you lay your glass on it, paint it if you want to before the glass, and then you just cut one side off and peel it off and seam the two together with a piece of tape. Now this is basically a piece of 1/2 inch balsa here, then a 1/2 inch balsa here with a 3/16 balsa box between them. And I just fill in around the box with that real hard green floral foam. Cut it and sand it to shape, glass it, and that gives you everything. And then down here, I just took 2 pieces of 1/2 inch balsa and stacked them together for 1 inch piece, and then it's a little oversized, as you can see, sort of. And what that does is that gives you a flange, so you can run a little bead of goop here, then run your glass around it, and then you have a flange, and that flange will go right around the inlets that are already in the fuselage. So once I get all this sanded back down, it's on that second stage of primer and filler right now. Once I get that sanded down, if all looks good, I'll hit it with a coat of silver paint, get it sanded down with some real fine 400 grit or something, polish it up, wax it, and this will be ready to lay up some inlet ducts and stuff on. So this is the last piece. The inlet ducts are really the last thing I need to close up the fuselage, because these will actually be installed when everything else in the fuselage before it gets closed up, which will make life a little easier. You'll just have to do some blending in down at the bottom of the inlet ramp. So that's where the F-14's at the moment. I gotta go do some dinner. It's getting late, so I'll pop in the video camera when I get ready to do those main landing gear doors, and we'll get some more work done. Till then, see you back in the shop.